Hello, hi, welcome back to my channel. Welcome to another exciting video. I think I say this in all my videos, but I am very excited to film this video. We are going to be doing a spring reset, so mostly a bookish reset, but maybe I can sprinkle in some general spring reset as well. So I'm excited for this. I am planning on doing a seasonal reset and see how it goes. I love just resetting for the new season, so I am very excited to start with spring. In terms of my to-do list in this video, I do want to reorganize my bookshelf, singular, because I do only have one bookshelf that you see in my monthly TBR jar prompt picks my TBR monthly videos. What was that? I do have a full-size bookshelf, but it's housing all these miscellaneous things like my skincare, my stationery, just anything but books. But maybe one day I can transfer all my books to the bookshelf and actually house all my other miscellaneous things somewhere else. Just haven't decided on where to put them. So that's why we are going to be reorganizing my mini bookshelf and also the carts of books that I have. It's not really a TBR carts because it also has books that I have completed. So maybe I can put all the books that I need to read on that TBR cart, which is what I bought it for. Right now, I am constantly going back and forth between my mini bookshelf and my cart of books. So it'd be nice to have all the books that I need to read on my cart so that I can actually call it a TBR cart. Another thing I do want to do, maybe I can squeeze in a book shopping trip. Maybe, I don't know. I'm still debating on whether I want to buy books this season because I have 3 books in mind on my radar. Out of the 3 books, I do know that one of the books is not in Indigo, and so I would have to order it. The other 2 books I believe are in stock, so I'm thinking, I don't know if I want to purchase these 2 books, but the 3rd book, the one that is not in Indigo, I really want that book. And it is surprisingly a classic, or maybe it's just a literary fiction, not quite sure. So the book that I do want, I might have to buy it online or maybe go to an independent bookstore. I'm not sure if I am going to go to a bookstore anytime soon, and I plan to film this video in the span of 2 weeks, so leading up to spring. I have not decided whether I want to purchase these 3 books at least for the time being, but they are on my radar, so we'll see how that goes. For sure, I am going to pick up a book from the library because it is ready to be picked up. I'm excited for this book and I will share it with you all when I go and pick it up. The next thing I want to do is update my 2026 reading journal. Starting in 2026, I want to be better at updating my reading journal. So I'm going to do these quarterly check-ins through these resets to update my reading journal. So that is one of my goals that I will be implementing in these resets. And I did get a request to film my 2025 reading journal flip through. Mind you that it is very raw and very unaesthetic. This 2025 reading journal, I was not up to date with it. So you're going to see a lot of blank pages and you're going to see a lot of blank spreads. It's going to be a raw, unfiltered, and realistic reading journal. So that's why I want to do better with my 2026 reading journal by actually filling it out. I will provide a 2025 reading journal flip through, and I also want to decorate my Kobo. I have my Kobo here, and this is what it looks like currently. It is temporary, and I want to do seasonal decorations on my Kobo. So this is going to be a springish Kobo. I am really excited for that. While I have my Kobo out, let's talk about my current reads. So I am currently reading First Time Caller by B.K. Borison, and I am loving it so much. It is such a light, fluffy read so far. I feel quite giddy whenever I read certain parts in this book, so I'm really enjoying this. It is such a refreshing break from all the darker or heavier fantasies that I have been reading. So reading this light, fluffy romance, I'm not sure if it's going to be light and fluffy, but for the time being, it puts a smile on my face so far. So I am really enjoying this. I am also debating if I should buy the physical copy. That's saying something. This means that it's going well so far. I am 23% into the book, so we'll see how the book goes, but so far I'm really enjoying it. And for the first time in maybe 2 years or maybe a year, I am reading 2 books at the same time. So the other book that I am reading is Finale by Stephanie Garber. I am so excited to dive into this. This is the last book in the trilogy, so I am really excited to finish this. And actually, I'm not reading this physically, I am actually listening to it through an audiobook. So I am going to pick this up whenever I do a deep cleaning. Since it is the springtime, we are going to be doing a deep cleaning session, but I don't know if I'm going to be filming it. So whenever I am doing a deep cleaning session in the condo, I am going to be picking this up and listening to this through an audio so that I am still continuously reading, because I feel like whenever I deep clean the condo, or if I clean the condo, I feel like it just takes up so much time, and it's just great to be able to listen to a book. Multitasking at its best. I'm really excited for this. I just listened to the first chapter and it feels great to dive into this world again. These are the 2 books I am currently reading. It's been a while since I picked up more than one book and reading it at the same time, because I feel like I really want to immerse myself in the story rather than completing it because I need to finish the book. So I feel that when I am focusing on one book at a time, I'm able to just dive into it. Whereas if I read 2 books at once, I feel like because of that disconnect in between the books, I can't really get back into the story as easily. And I feel like that affects my star rating a bit. The last time I read multiple books at a time was 2024 fall time. I specifically remember it was in October because I was reading 3 books at the same time and they were all physical copies, and I just felt overwhelmed. It was just too much for me and I just didn't know what to do. I think reading one book as an ebook and the other as an audio will help with the experience, I hope. So reading it in different sources would, I think, make it easier for me to read 2 books at the same time. So we'll see how that goes. But for the time being, I am enjoying both of these books, even though I just started Finale. But anyway, and the only non-bookish item on my list is to make a seasonal syrup for spring. There is a creator on TikTok that made 4 different types of syrups for spring. Out of these 4, I'm thinking of making maybe 2 of them, or maybe 1 of the 2. So the first one is a lavender syrup. That sounds delicious. Or a toasted coconut syrup. That also sounds amazing as well. But I'm leaning towards the lavender one. So we'll see how that goes. The third one that she introduced was a banana bread syrup, I think. And the 4th one was a jasmine tea syrup. So usually I make a brown sugar syrup and also occasionally the Earl Grey tea syrup. These fit so perfectly with my matcha. I've never tried it with coffee, so we'll see how that goes. But for my matchas, I'm thinking of making a lavender syrup. But I've never heard of a lavender coffee. That sounds interesting too, so maybe I can try that too. Or a toasted coconut matcha. And I mean, I can see myself drinking a toasted coconut coffee, so that sounds parable. So come along with me as we do a spring reset, but primarily focusing on a bookish reset. Hi, it's been a couple of hours, but I came from the library and went to go pick up the book that was waiting for me on hold, and that is Agnes Aubert's Mystical Cat Shelter by Heather Fawcett. I don't even think I can remember the title of this book if I were to show the book to you. This book was a candidate on my TBR prompt jar picks my March reads, and it was for the new release prompt, but I did not pick this one because I wanted to read And Now Back to You by BK Borison first, and also I did not expect this one to come in so soon. I was expecting this to come in late March, early April. This was a nice surprise, but this means that I have 4 books checked out. One of them is an ebook, another one is an audiobook, and now 2 physical copies. Speaking of, we also have And Now Back to You by BK Borison from the library. So we have 2 physical books here, and let's check and see when they are due. And Now Back to You is due March 25th, and Agnes Aubert's Mystical Cat Shelter is due March 30th. They're literally 5 days apart. I mean, that's cutting it a bit close, but we'll see how that goes. But let's talk about the book that I did pick up. This book is stunning. I love how there's no dust jacket. I'm not opposed to dust jackets because whenever I do read a hardcover book, I would just take off the dust jacket and read the hardcover book. But I appreciate that there's no dust jacket. I don't have to do that extra step. I did read one of her works, which was Emily Wilde's Encyclopedia of Fairies. I think I read it in 2024 in February, but I soft DNF'd it at the time. It just wasn't it for me. I was not in the mood for it, so I soft DNF'd it. I also felt like nothing was really happening, and also there was supposed to be a subplot of romance, but I don't think I'd gone far enough to see that subplot of romance. But ultimately, 2 years later, I have never picked up the book, so I think it's safe to say I DNF'd it. But if this book changes my mind, if I really enjoy this book, then maybe I will give Emily Wilde's Encyclopedia of Fairies another shot. I believe there's 3 books out in the series, so I don't know. And that's another thing as well. If I found that Emily Wilde's Encyclopedia of Fairies was just okay or just didn't intrigue me. I don't think I'm gonna continue in the series anyway, but we'll see how this goes. Let's see if I am more invested in this story and then maybe give Emily Wilde's Encyclopedia of Fairies a shot. The story seems very cozy, very heartwarming, and it's about cats and a bookstore. So I think that's going to be very cute. We'll see how that goes. I don't think I'm going to be reading it anytime soon because I am in the middle of 2 books. My main goal is to read And Now Back to You by BK Borison. But again, I do want to focus on my March TBR. So I first have to finish First Time Caller before I get to And Now Back to You. And then I have 2 more books to get through. So I have a lot of books to get through. And I also have an ebook that is due in the month of March, and that is Vicious by V.E. Schwab. And this is Freya's book club pick of the month for the month of March. And I really hope I can get to that one as well. And because of the ebook and the audiobook, it would automatically return to the library. So I really hope I can get through them and finish them. Whereas with a physical copy, if I am late, I just am late. So I really don't want to be late for the library, but having 4 books with different medias checked out, I don't know. I have a lot of reading to get to. I just went on a tangent. So that is the book that I picked up from the library. I don't know if I'm going to be doing a book shopping trip, but we will see in the next 2 weeks to see whether I am going to end up going on this book shopping trip. But if not, these 2 books are my library haul. It is quite late right now, so I'm going to be winding down and also editing the reading vlog that came out already, which is the one where we see whether I can finish all the library books that I have checked out before the due date. That vlog is probably out by the time you watch this video, so I have to continue editing that vlog. And for the rest of the night, I will read First Time Caller in bed until I fall asleep. So I'll check in with you all when we do the next item on the list. It's not going to be in order, but it's based on how I feel. I am going to be winding down, and I'll check in with you all when we tackle on the next item on our spring bookish reset list. Hi! It's been a while since I last filmed for this vlog. Since the last time we spoke, there were no changes. I did not check off anything on my spring bookish reset. So we have about 2 more days and 3 including today to finish all of this because I do need to edit this and post it by this Sunday. So we'll see how this goes. I hope it doesn't look too messy. There has been a few updates since the last time we spoke. I bought a couple of things over the past few days or over the last 2 weeks. The first thing I bought was a Kobo case. So I got this off of Amazon. It was pretty cheap. I wanted a case that can flip open, and then it also has a handle here. So when I'm reading, I can hold it like this. But when I did try it out, it kept on flopping on me and I almost dropped my Kobo. So I'm okay with not using the strap here, or I just need to learn how to hold this better. But then again, I think my hands are just a bit small. It's okay. This is just optional. But my intention of getting this Kobo case is when I go traveling or when I go visit my family and friends back in Toronto. I would use this to cover my Kobo screen because I don't want it scratching here. In the past, what I would do is just put it in a pouch, but I use that pouch for other things as well. So I think it was just easier for me to just finally get a case to actually cover the Kobo. And honestly, it's just like a plain Kobo case, so no decorations or whatsoever. But again, the intention is that if I am going to travel or if I'm putting my Kobo in my bag, I will bring this. Otherwise, we're gonna still stick with the clear case. And I still have to decorate the back, but I'll show you what my new spring back cover would be. I'm excited. So we'll look into that after. And I'm thinking of changing my screensaver at the moment. So this looks more fallish, winterish. I found one that seems more brighter and lighter, even though it's black and white, but we'll see how it goes. If not, we are going to stick with this one because I adore it. It's so cute. I love Snoopy. So there we have it. So this was the first purchase over the last 2 weeks. The next bookish item I bought is very exciting. At Indigo, which is the largest chain bookstore that we have in Canada, they do an author of the month, so you get 25% off the author of the month. And this month was, actually I don't want to spoil it yet, so I'm just going to show you the book that I bought. Because in March, I saw who the author of the month was and I thought that was a sign to purchase their books. So I bought a trilogy from this author, and that is the Mistborn trilogy. I'm so excited. I wanted to read this for a while. I just never prioritized it, so it was just sitting in my to be read list on Goodreads for quite some time. But it wasn't until Melina from What Melina Reads here on YouTube read The Mistborn, the first in the trilogy, and she raved about it. She absolutely loved it, and I thought that was a sign. I held Mistborn at the library in the month of February, or maybe January, I can't remember. Sounds like it's a February thing. And I would get to the Mistborn trilogy once that book comes in, because there is quite a long lineup. And because Brandon Sanderson is the author of the month for the month of March, I knew I had to pick it up. It's time to read the Mistborn trilogy. I am thinking of reading this maybe sometime this year. I don't know when, but maybe I can finish maybe I can finish the Greenbone saga and then go into this. That sounds exciting. But I also want to read A Court of Thorns and Roses, the ACOTAR series, because Sarah J. Maas just announced 2 new releases. One in October, which is the 6th book, and one in January 2027, which is the 7th book. So I really want to get to this. So because that is also a sign that I need to get to A Court of Thorns and Roses. And it was on my 25 books of 2025 and also on my 26 books for 2026. So it is a sign that I need to get to this ASAP. So maybe I could read, oh, my arms, these 2 very soon. So we'll see how that goes, but I don't mind starting both series when the time comes. Those were my updates since the last time we spoke. How exciting. I'm excited for Mistborn. I'm excited for A Court of Thorns and Roses. What are we doing here? We are going to reorganize my bookshelves and my cart. So right now, my cart has a mixture of books that I have not read yet and books that I have read. Oh, but I don't want to separate these. Anyways, yes. We're gonna do it. This has majority all the books that I have already read, I think. So we're gonna reorganize it, and whatever books that I have read but cannot fit here, then I will put it maybe at the back of the cart so that I don't have to always twist it. But then again, I also have a lot of books that I haven't read, so I do still have to flip it around. But maybe I can put the books that I have read on the bottom and then books that I haven't read more on the top so that it's at eye level when I'm sitting down-ish. It'll be easier for me to pick my TBR for the month when we do our TBR prompt jar. I'm going to get my tea and then we are going to start taking down all the books. So I'll be right back. I am back. Whoa, I feel like I'm so close to the camera. And I got my steep tea. I have condensed milk in here and also a sprinkle of cinnamon, which my best friend has introduced to me, and I have not stopped adding a sprinkle of cinnamon ever since. So it's delish. And so let's get to taking down all the books. Before we start, I do have some books on my coffee table, but those are my March TBR books and also my spring TBR. So I'm going to keep it there so that I know I have to get to them, because if I leave them on the shelves or on the cart, I'm most likely going to forget it. Let's begin. We are going to maybe organize it with books that I have read and have not read. Oh, I'm so sad. My Stephanie Garber shelf is going to be gone. I'm currently reading Finale, so I wonder if I should leave this out, not even on the shelves or the cart. So maybe I'll do that. Oh yeah. I don't know why I have this on the shelves, but I am going to add this to my spring TBR because that's on my spring TBR. And I'm excited for this cover because I did a road trip with my best friend to the US and we went to a Barnes & Noble, so that was so exciting. So I'm glad to have the Barnes & Noble exclusive for this one. I don't mind that the covers don't match, but I'm excited. This is kind of like a souvenir from the US. Now, these are books that I want to reread because of Leigh Bardugo's new release in June, which is, I believe, a novella. So rereads. You know what? I read it, so if I want to get to it, I can see it here, so that's okay. I'm gonna put it there. So down here are some nonfiction and textbooks. I don't know if I want to keep that here. I'll keep those in my room maybe. I think that would be better. And during, I think the last 2 years, I thought I would be an annotator for my book. So I bought all these supplies and never used one of them. So we need to get to that. Oh yeah, and I got little sticky notes, transparent sticky notes as well, so that I can write in the book without really actually writing in the book, if that makes sense. We're gonna try that. We have to try that one day. I really need to get to the psychology of money. And it's thin. You know what? Maybe I'll leave this out here, maybe under the coffee table, so it's kind of like a coffee table read, maybe, if I have some time in the morning. I've been waking up so late these days, so hasn't been happening, but yeah, maybe I'll leave this in the coffee table. So I'm gonna put this on the coffee table section. So I've read The Picture of Dorian Gray. And I technically read 1984 when I was in grade 9. So does that count? Or actually, when did I read this? Sometime in high school. Can't remember. It's been many years. I'm gonna pretend that I didn't read it because let's be honest, when I was in high school, I did not read the required reading and use Spark Notes. If you were during my era of Spark Notes, if you know, you know. When I was in high school, I did not like the required reading because I didn't like being forced to read something and had a due date to finish that book. Not even finish that book. I remember that in high school, we had to read up to a certain chapter each week and I did not like that. So I used Spark Notes. So I do have Magnolia Parks, but this is my old roommate's book, along with this version of Crooked Kingdom. And I still need to return these. And it's been probably 2 years. I need to reach out to her and return these books. And the last book on the shelf is The Very Secret Society of Witches. Read. All right, I'm going to take down these books in just a bit. That is that shelf. I have read Jade City. Let's put that here. Oh, I love that book. Jade Legacy. Do you see how thick this book is? I'm scared. I didn't realize how thick these books were because I read it through an ebook. And I did notice that it took me a while to read, but now I can see why, because it's so thick. But I know I'm gonna breeze through it, so I'm excited. I just like holding this book for some reason. It's just so satisfying. Imagine finishing this book. Exciting. And then let's take down these books. Oh, my arms are so sore. I went to a dance class 2 days ago and it's my first time going back to a dance class in over 2 years or even pushing 3. It's been a long while and my whole body is so sore, so bear with me. These are not read. These are not read. I have a lot of not read books. Okay, so I didn't read these Pretty Little Liars books. So Wicked, Heartless, Killer, and Wanted. Wow, I have so many unread books. It's actually crazy. The amount of times I tried to read the Atlas 6 is insane. Same with If We Were Villains. Actually, I tried to reread it twice. And for Atlas 6, 3 times. But I could never get past the 50-page mark. So I don't think it's fair to completely DNF it for now. So just wasn't in the mood for it. It's been a while. And every time I look at these books, I'm like, oh yeah, I remember those DNFs. So, oh yeah. I forgot, I do have a Brandon Sanderson book. I do want to get to Mistborn first before reading this, so I'm excited. And there is a reading order I want to get to, so exciting. I should stop yapping because I'm going so slow because I keep yapping. I read these 2, but I really need to read these again because I don't really recall what happened, especially the second book, because I listened to it through an audiobook and it was my first time getting into audiobooks, so I literally did not pay attention. Rachel Gillick, One Dark Window, The Shepherd King duology, love it. Wow, I do have a lot of books that I have read. This is going to be my new TBR cart, which is exciting. And I can finally say that this is my TBR cart. So we'll start with putting my did not read books here and see how much could fit. At the same time, for my read books, I kind of want to see if I want to keep it or unhaul it. And I have 7 minutes before work. So let's be honest, we can't get this done in 7 minutes. So we are going to put this on hold and come back at lunchtime or maybe later this evening and complete this. There are some books on the top of my mind that I know I don't want to keep any longer. So for example, Thornhedge by T. Kingfisher. I do want to unhaul it. So maybe for those that I'm for sure wanting to unhaul, I will keep a pile here. And those that I'm not sure, I will put it on the shelves and mention whether I should keep it or unhaul it. For books that I haven't read yet, I'm probably going to get to them before I unhaul them. And I do have a little indigo bag back here that is holding all the books that I want to unhaul. So maybe I can add it to that list. So we're gonna unhaul this one for sure. But I have 5 minutes left, so we need to get to work. And I will be back to address all the books around me here, maybe at lunchtime. So I'll see you all during lunchtime. All right, I am back. It is my lunch break, so I have around 30 minutes to do this. So I think we will tackle my red books because it is a lot smaller, and then all these around me are books that I have not read. So I am going to try and see if all my books can fit in here. It seems doable. And then if I come across any books that I want to unhaul, I will share it with you at the end. But let's get to reorganizing my bookshelf. There we go. I think those are all the books that I have read. How wonderful. Let me see. Oh yeah, let me bring some other books that I have not read yet and add it to this pile. That is kind of like a little spoiler of all the books that I've read in March. Now, I want to see if this looks okay for me. I'm very happy about the Hunger Games series, and I'm gonna take one last look on my red books, which I just realized is looking very empty. And then we're gonna jump right into the TBR cart. And once all that's done, I'm gonna do a mini little tour, maybe a more close-up of my books. I'm kind of satisfied with this. I'm gonna take one last look later, but let's start with our TBR cart. I'm thinking we should put the heavier books on the bottom. That looks pretty good. I'm putting all of my hardcovers on the bottom because they're the heaviest books. On the top, I kind of want to put these series. My priority. Yeah, that's perfect. I do want to put my Sarah J. Maas together, but let's be honest, I don't think I can get to... Oh, too heavy. I don't think I can get to Throne of Glass. I technically finished The Assassin's Blade. When I start the Throne of Glass series, I technically started, but I stopped reading after The Assassin's Blade. So when I get into the Throne of Glass series, I'm gonna read this third. So we'll see how I feel, because technically I read this first and I'm going into the series, but since it's been a while since I read this, I'm gonna put this third and see how I feel about the reading order. For these books, because I know I'm not gonna get to it this year, I'm gonna put it in my room where my bookshelf of miscellaneous items are on, and that was actually where it originally was. It was on the top of my bookshelves there. I'm curious, do you keep the box that the books come in, or do you throw them out? I think for one of them I did throw out. I think it was the Caraval trilogy plus the novella Spectacular that I threw out the box, but should I keep the box? Do you keep the box? I don't know. Sometimes I feel like it's not really necessary. It doesn't look that amazing. So, I mean, if the box looks nice, I'll keep it. But if it looks kind of standard, I might just throw it out. Anyway, just a random thought. Technically, these two books are on my 26 books for 2026. But would it be weird to just insert these two just randomly here? No, it doesn't. It's not weird. So that I can remember that I need to get to those. I do really want to read these. I feel like the boxes are taking up a lot of space on my TBR cart. Actually, now that I'm looking at the series, I think I'm supposed to read Assassin's Blade after Air of Fire. Is that right? Is this the reading order? So I know this is one of the orders. So we start with the prequel and then go into the series, or it goes either here or not quite sure how the reading order is. So I'll have to look that up, whether it should be in between Crown of Midnight and Air of Fire, or it should be after Air of Fire. I'm gonna keep it like this for now. I'm not sure if that's the case. And all the other things around me are going to be in my room. Perfect. Just to recap, now I have all of my to-be-read books on this cart, which is wonderful. These are not going to be on it because I just don't have the space on the TBR cart. And also, this was originally on top of my bookshelf in my room, so I'm gonna keep it there for now. And I don't think I'm going to get to it this year. And on this side here are all the books I have read. And there are some that I don't know if I want to keep, but I'll think about it a little bit more. But for sure, I do want to unhaul Thornhedge by T. Kingfisher. I really don't think I'm gonna pick this up again. It's time to say goodbye to Thornhedge, and hopefully someone can pick it up and enjoy this book, probably appreciate it more than I do. We are going to unhaul this one for sure, and I'm going to bring you all closer and talk about how I organized it, I guess. I absolutely love this little cubby here, which is my Hunger Games series cubby, which fits beautifully. If only I had this as a hardcover, then it would look better, but honestly, it doesn't really bother me too much. I wanted to get Sunrise on the Reaping as a paperback, but for some reason it hasn't been released yet. We have this as a hardback. If only this was a paperback, then I would be satisfied, but that's okay. Then on the right cubby, we have Caraval, Legendary, and I was debating whether I want to put The House in the Cerulean Sea or Remarkably Bright Creatures first, and I wanted to do it by alphabetical order by author. It is in alphabetical order by last name, so I'm okay with that. I was hoping for all my fantasies to be on this cubby, and this cubby here. Let's bring you down a bit. We are on our middle shelf, and I'm very satisfied with how this looks for the time being. I know when I finish Jade Legacy, this is going to change, but for now, I'm very satisfied with how it looks, and everything fits perfectly. This is so satisfying to see. So we have Jade City, One Dark Window, Two Twisted Crowns, Six of Crows, and Crooked Kingdom. This little box here are pretty much like my 5-star reads, or books that I just absolutely adore. On the right here, this is going to be my romance cubby. So we have Just for the Summer by Abby Jimenez. I absolutely love this one. I don't have Part of Your World and Yours Truly with me at the moment. It's with my eldest sister, but I have read those too. Love in Other Words, it's been a while since I read it, but I absolutely loved it as well when I read it maybe 2 years ago. So I do need to do a reread because I don't remember what it's about. Beach read, I don't know if I enjoyed it enough, so I want to reread this one to see if I want to keep it in my shelves. I think when I read it for the first time, I think 2 years ago, maybe a year ago, I was speed reading because I wanted to read all of Emily Henry's backlist in a week. But with my reading speed and how much I allocate my reading, it was just not possible. It took me a whole week to read Beach Read. I want to see if I actually enjoyed Beach Read or if I find that it might be overhyped. I loved Book Lovers, so I'm going to keep that here. I also have Happy Place, but it's a hardback. So I've been wanting to get the paperback version of it, but haven't got around to it. So that's why it's not here. We have the Fairy Secret Society of Irregular Witches. This one was good. I thought it was a cozy read, but when they had some explicit scenes in here, I thought it was just unnatural and it was just inserted there. So don't know if I want to keep this. I'll have to think about it. The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo I recently read and love. Good Spirits I also loved, and Holiday Ever After I really enjoyed. So this is a bit of a weird angle, but we have The Housemaid by Frida McFadden and The Housemaid's Secret by Frida McFadden. I wasn't a big fan of this one, but I absolutely loved The Housemaid. So I for sure want to keep The Housemaid, but I don't know if I want to keep The Housemaid's Secret. So it's just there for the time being. I have read The Housemaid is Watching and thought it was okay. Rock, Paper, Scissors by Alice Feeney. This one scared me. It spooked me, and I'm going to keep it. A Good Girl's Guide to Murder. I thought it was okay, I think. But I do want to read the trilogy and see if I really enjoyed it. But for now, I'm going to keep it until I finish the trilogy. Silent Patient, I absolutely loved. I think it's one of my favorite thrillers. And The Maidens. This one I really enjoyed, but I prefer The Silent Patient more. And this cubby here is going to hold my classics. I don't have a lot of classics in here. Clearly, I only have one. I might switch these two, actually. Let me try that. There we go. I think that looks better because this cubby is a lot smaller in width than this one. So I think I can house more thriller books than I can with classics. So we'll keep it like this for now. So the only classics I have read was The Picture of Dorian Gray. And I want to reread this because when I read it at the time, I was getting back into reading and it just didn't click for me. But I did enjoy it, I think. And when I did read it, I think it was the writing I wasn't used to, so want to give this another shot after 3 years. So those are all the books I have read already that I own. Now onto my TBR cart. The first row are all the books that I want to prioritize, books I'm very excited about. So we have Finley Donovan is Killing It. This one is on my 26 books for 2026. Better Than the Movies, also on my 26 books for 2026. Jade Legacy, we all know how much I love the Greenbone saga, so must be read very shortly. We have the ACOTAR series, and with the 2 new releases coming up, I really want to get to this before October 2026. And we have the Mistborn trilogy, which is a recent purchase, and I am very excited to get to this. So the second row here, the second row are books that I really want to get to as well, and also the lighter books. Actually, a lot of these books are books I want to get to. We have Legendborn and Bloodmarked. We have Under the Whispering Door. This is a little spoiler, but clearly I did not read it in the month of March. We have Wicked, Heartless, Killer, and Wanted. We have The Friend Zone, The Happily Ever After playlist, and Life's Too Short. This little interconnected standalone series by Abby Jimenez. We have Love on the Brain and Love Theoretically by Ali Hazelwood, and Atmosphere by Taylor Jenkins Reid. I cannot wait to get to that one. The last row, which is housing all my heavy books. So it's not technically books I want to get to the least, it's just they're heavier, so I don't want to put them on the top and cause any accidents. So we have the Empyrean series. Clearly, I haven't read Fourth Wing yet, and that's another spoiler in my March TBR wrap-up. These are my books on my 26 books for 2026, so I really have to get to these. We have This Woven Kingdom, These Infinite Threads, and All This Twisted Glory. I actually saw this on Book Outlet and bought the first book, but because I bought the first book, I thought I had to get all in the series, so that's why I have these 3. But I heard really good things about this series. We have Divine Rivals. Maybe it's in my 26 books for 2026. Then we have Tress of the Emerald Sea. I'm very excited for this one as well, because I think this is inspired by The Princess Bride. We have Spectacular and Dark Matter. I'm actually very excited for this one too. So any books facing this direction are books that I really want to get to more than the books that are facing at the back. So we are going to turn our TBR cart around and see the remainder of the books. Okay, I lied. Maybe not the first row, because the first row are books that I really want to get to. They're priorities. So we have The Poppy War and The Dragon Republic. These I really want to get to and are on my 26 books for 2026. They're just facing the back because I just don't have space. So starting from here, these are the books that I'm not itching to get to. These books are The Atlas 6, False Witness, The Fury, The Kiss Quotient, Ready Player One, Good Girl, Bad Blood, As Good as Dead, If We Were Villains, The Cruel Prince, The Wicked King, and The Queen of Nothing. Out of all these books, I'm actually leaning towards wanting to read False Witness, The Fury, Ready Player One, and that's it. This row are books that I want to get to the least. So it is 1984, Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, and Memoirs of a Geisha. I had this book since probably 2022, but never got to it. Classics aren't my preferred genre. I just find it a bit more difficult to read, but I do want to read more classics. So it's nice to have classics here, but out of all the books that I own, classics are the least that I want to get to. This is the order that I want to get through, with the top being the top priority. The middle, we have a mixture of books I want to get to and books that are not calling to me, and the last row being books that are really not calling to me. So those are all the unread books that I own. All right, so that is my reorganization for my bookshelves and my TBR cart. I'm so glad to be able to say this is my TBR cart now. We have so much space here, so that's really exciting. I want to house all my favorite books here. So that's why with some of these, I might unhaul or maybe move to another bookshelf. Maybe we'll buy a new bookshelf, we'll see. But for the time being, I am satisfied with how this looks. I am very satisfied with this as well. Now we can choose our TBR for the month very easily without switching between the bookshelf and the TBR cart, or at the time, my cart of books. And we are going to move the throne of glass to my room. So that did not take as long as I thought. I thought it would take me a whole day to do this. I'm very glad that we got to tackle this in such a short amount of time. I will check in with you all when we do the next item on our spring bookish reset list. Good morning. So yesterday I was editing this video and we are already at 45 minutes of footage, and this is already condensed. This is going to be a long video, and I still have 4 more items on this spring reset list. And so change of plans, we are going to do 1 more thing on this list, and then for the other 3 we are going to incorporate it in a reading vlog. The 4 things left outstanding are make a seasonal syrup for my coffees and my matchas. We have updating my 2026 reading journal. I am still updating it, but it's taking me a long while, but I do like to do that off camera. Maybe I'll insert some clips of me writing in my journal. We still have to do my 2025 reading journal flip through. And finally, we have to decorate my Kobo. Out of these 4 outstanding items on the list, we are going to be making a seasonal syrup. I think this would be a nice switch to the other clips and items on my list. A little bit different than bookish items, but I think making a seasonal syrup would be like a nice little switch. So in the beginning of the video, I did mention that I want to make one of the 2, a lavender syrup or a toasted coconut syrup. Till this day, I do not have lavender, so we are going with a toasted coconut syrup because I have all the items here. I have jotted down a very quick recipe for the toasted coconut syrup. I will link the TikTok creator's video down in the description box below for reference. For this toasted coconut syrup, I have 99% of the items. This is our 1 cup, and we have 1.5 cups. Yeah, that's the only 2 measuring cups that we need. So I'll just be using the 1 cup. So we need 1 cup of unsweetened shredded coconut, and we toast it. So here is my shredded coconut, and I only have the sweetened. So we'll see how that goes. Hopefully it's still okay. Maybe it'll just be too sweet. We need 1.5 cups of sugar. I was hoping that it would be brown sugar, but they used granulated sugar, so we are going to be using that. And then 1.5 cups of water. So just got my Brita filter water. And the only thing that we need to do that is different from making a brown sugar syrup or even an Earl Grey syrup is to toast the coconut. Here it says to toast at 275 Fahrenheit and check every 3 minutes. Originally, I thought that was in the oven, but I have seen some TikTok videos that they do it over the stove. Maybe I'll try doing it over the stove, and we will try the syrup with a matcha together. So I'm excited. And since this is my first time making it, we are going through the process together. Let's start making my toasted coconut syrup. Is it just me, or is this looking like a lot of coconut? I was stirring for at least 2 minutes, and I don't think it has gotten darker at all. So I turned up the heat, so hopefully this will toast faster and also it does not burn it. That's my biggest fear. I tend to burn things, so let's hope this doesn't burn. I was in the middle of washing dishes and then I smelled the toasted coconut. So I ran here and, well, I just sidestepped here and noticed that it started to brown. I need to keep stirring, otherwise it's gonna burn. And I lowered the heat so that I don't actually burn it, but so far it's looking great. I am so excited. It's just not evenly toasted, but that's what happens when you just dump a cup of coconut into a small pot. So we're just gonna keep stirring, and up to a certain point, I'm going to add the water and the sugar. So this is what it looks like. It's perfect! Because this is sweetened shredded coconut, instead of using 1.5 cups of sugar, maybe I can do 75. ish. Well, let's try that. And then we're gonna add the water and then add sugar as we see fit. So let's start with the sugar. Since it's looking a little bit watery, I'm gonna try and see if it's sweet enough, and hopefully it would be okay. Wow. Oh, it's so good. It's very sweet. So I'm glad I didn't use 1.5 cups of sugar. That would have been too sweet. I am so happy about this. I think this is ready to be set. I'm gonna do another taste because it's pretty good. Oh, so good. I'm satisfied. We can turn off the fire. I'm gonna let this cool. I'm gonna make my breakfast and we will come back once this cools down, and we're going to strain the coconut and store the syrup. And then once that cools down, we are going to make my matcha. Oh, I'm so excited. I'm not sure what to do with all this coconut. Maybe I'll eat it, store it somewhere and eat it, but it's kind of soggy. Maybe I'll just do that. But this has been so far a success. I'm excited. I'm very excited for... The sugar is getting to my throat. I'm excited to put this in my matcha and my coffee. Exciting. So things didn't go as planned. So I did the rest off camera. I made a massive spill on the table, onto the floors. I had to clean that up. I did the rest off camera. I did it over the sink, which I should have done originally so that I didn't have to lose so much of the syrup and make a massive spill all over the place. But that is okay. So here is our bowl of toasted coconut. It's a bit soggy. And our final result. This looks gorgeous. Smells so good. This looks amazing. I am so excited to put this in my matcha after I have my breakfast. So I'm going to let this cool on the counter and I'll come back once we make our toasted coconut matcha latte today. We are back. We are going to be making our toasted coconut matcha latte. And we are going to make it iced. I always love making an iced matcha latte. You can never go wrong with an iced matcha latte. I have my matcha bowl with its whisk, and my go-to matcha is the Hanami matcha, and I will link the website down below. I absolutely love this matcha, and I always buy the 3-pack because I do go to Toronto quite often, so I can pick it up in person rather than buying it online. And I need to have this stocked at all times. Or I would have a temporary matcha in place until I go back to Toronto to pick up 3 more packs of these. I don't think it's too strong. I've never had it just on its own, but in a matcha latte, it is so good. Ever since I've learned how to make my own matcha, I rarely buy matchas in cafes now, ever since I've learned how to make my own matcha. So we're going to be using the Hanami matcha as our matcha for today. So I use 1 teaspoon of matcha. I just use the 1/4 teaspoon at the moment because that fits the package and it's just easier to use. I would show you what the inside looks. I don't even know if I have enough. So let's see. So I still have a little bit left and I want to savor this. We have our matcha and we're going to sift it. And this is how green it looks. We have already soaked our matcha whisk in hot water. So now we can begin with whisking this. I use room temperature water or colder water for majority of it. I also use the boiling water that I have. That's why I mixed the two, because we do not want to burn the matcha. I just pour a little bit of the boiling water and then majority room temperature or even cold water, and then I start whisking. And we are going to be doing this in zigzag motions or in Z's. This is one of my favorite relaxation moments. I like to just whisk while looking out the balcony window. So I'm just gonna move back a bit because I've been hunching over. Let's put that aside for now. And this is going to be my cup. I always use this for either hot or cold drinks. I don't have those clear glasses, so maybe I'll purchase it one day, but I'm satisfied with this for the time being. So let's add a couple of ice cubes in here. I think 3 is good because these ice cubes are humongous. Now we can put our syrup in. I am going to try maybe 2 tablespoons. Usually I do 3 tablespoons of syrup when it comes to my brown sugar. And my milk of choice is just 2% milk. And then we are going to put the matcha in. Let's mix that up. Taste test. Cheers. Okay, I taste the hint of coconut, but I don't taste the sweetness, so I'm gonna add 1 more tablespoon. Let's try this again. All right, let's try this again. Cheers. Oh yeah, this is so good. Okay, toasted coconut matcha latte was a success. I am absolutely obsessed. I don't find it too sweet compared to my brown sugar syrup or even my Earl Grey syrup. Maybe it's the granulated sugar, because usually for my Earl Grey syrup, I put brown sugar syrup in it as well. But this time I used granulated sugar. And also I didn't put the recommended 1.5 cups. I did like 3/4 of a cup. So I think that makes it less sweet, but I already find it very sweet. I think toasted coconut with matcha pairs perfectly. This is so good. I still have a lot of toasted shredded coconut in here, so maybe I can sprinkle some on top. Maybe it will elevate the experience. Let's try it. Cheers. I don't know if it's because of the toasted shredded coconut, but this tastes sweeter. So I would say this has been a success, minus the massive spillage that happened while transferring it to the jar. That will be it for this spring reset. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will continue the spring resets list, but as a cozy reading vlog instead. That will be the end of this video. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a happy spring, and I will see you in the next video. Bye and cheers.